I don't think it'll be too long of a message tonight, but I want to talk to you from the topic of in hot pursuit, vigorously pursuing God. And what I'm doing on Wednesdays, next few Wednesdays, except for next Wednesday, is bringing up and discussing some of the messages that I have prepared for Rend the Heavens. And if you were here, you know God had other plans for that. And I want to start with a quote I've said before that will kind of set the tone. Two natures beat within my breast. The one is foul, the one is blessed. The one I love, the one I hate, the one I pursue will dominate. I added that word pursue. I think it had a different word in there. But what we pursue makes all the difference in the world. And we've been talking a lot about revival lately. And what revival is, it's an awakening. It's awakening of the church for believers. Yes, evangelism happens, but it's an awakening that awakens the church. And in this pursuit, we have to fight for every square inch, like we've talked about before. They had to fight for the promised land. David and Saul had a long battle. David had to fight for the kingdom, and you too will have to fight for this relationship, this pursuit of God. And as we know in life, things worth fighting for require a fight. Where you run or who you run to often determines either victory or defeat. And also in this pursuit of God, holiness is vital to intimacy and pursuit. The more we pursue Him, the more, and actually holiness is being set apart and wanting to pursue God. Billy Graham said, "Don't take the holiness of God lightly, for it is the very essence of His character." It's the very essence of His character. And what we've been talking about during Rend the Heavens, I want to remind you tonight that you can't serve both Babylon and the bridegroom. We have to make a choice as we pursue God. Pursuing God is really giving up other things that could be good, but you're pursuing this which is better. That's why the writer of Hebrews says, remove every weight that slows us down, as well as, of course, the sin. Just like you can't give your passion equally to two spouses. Have you ever tried that? Don't. It's not possible. Same thing with pursuing God. And it's been said, the further you go in, the less you can take with you. Those things that distract us from God. The main reason we retreat from the pursuit of God is because of idolatry. That's the main hindrance to your pursuit of God. As we begin to pursue God, idolatry comes in, putting other things before God, and we begin to drift from that pursuit. That's what the drift is. People, they're pursuing God, but then something else takes their time. John Calvin said, the human heart is a factory of idols. The human heart is an idol factory, and it must be restrained. Marcus Aurelius, the true worth of a man is measured by the objects he pursues. Pursuit. What are we pursuing? Let me see your checkbook and your calendar, and that will sum it up nicely. What about Mozart? Of course, we know of his music. He said, I'm swallowed up in music. I'm busy with it all day, speculating, studying, considering. It was his whole life. How much more a believer in their pursuit of God, that pursuit of spiritual life. Augustine said, we are shaped most not by what we think, not by what we do, but what we love, what we pursue. And of course, you know that your thoughts take you places. Thoughts are vitally important, of course, but it's what we pursue, what we love, what we go after. That's what shapes us more than anything else. You see this in the young adults, the teenagers. They're shaped by these actors and actresses and pop stars and all those things. They're shaped by those things, and that's what they pursue. Passion killer, flirting with the wrong person. Flirting with the wrong person kills your passion. And that's why God would often call it spiritual adultery, when we're pursuing other things. And that's why the number one reason why pornography kills marriages is because the passion for the spouse is directed elsewhere. The same thing that happens with pursuing God. I mean, we all know, how many of you have pursued health recently or trying to stay healthy in our body? It's challenging. Major changes have to take place in our diet and exercise, who we associate with, where we go, our lifestyle. Everything is focused on that pursuit. And as I said before, if nothing changes, nothing will change. If nothing changes, nothing will change. And I also want to recall, I'm using a lot of references I referenced during Rend the Heavens. Oswald Chambers said, God doesn't give us overcoming life. He gives us life as we overcome. Because so many times we say, Lord, give me that joy. Give me that overcoming life. Give me that self-discipline. And often we find that after we discipline ourselves, after we begin to pursue God, that's when the desire follows. That's when the pursuit of God follows. But you be strong. You be strong and do not become weak, and your work will be rewarded. That pursuit of God. He promises us, as you pursue Him, as you seek Him, you find Him. In order to run toward God, we must flee other things. Flee from idolatry, from 1 Corinthians. And that's what idolatry is. It's you're wanting to pursue God, but it pulls you away from God and it points you in a different direction. The irony is the power of the idol only exists in the mind of the worshiper. There's no power in an idol. It's in here, it's in our heart, it's in our mind, it's nothing. That's why they would cut down trees and make these little statues, put them in their homes, and they would worship them. There's no power in that at all. It's in the heart of the person. Even for those who do not bow physically before a statue, idolatry is a matter of the heart. From gotquestions.org. Pride, self-centeredness, greed, gluttony, a love for possessions, and ultimately rebellion against God. Is it any wonder that God hates it? Isaiah 2:8, it said the land was full of idols. They worshiped the work of their own hands. Guys, to really sum up what this message is about is, if you want to be in hot pursuit of God, to really do that, He has to be the priority. That relationship has to be the priority. Seeking Him with all of our heart, with all of our strength, opening up the Word, obeying the Word, and that becomes our pursuit. Again, throughout the day, you're going to make mistakes. You're going to get off track. But it's okay. You get back up and you keep fighting, as we often say here. It's ultimately rebellion against God is what idolatry is. And we are trusting in what can never help or deliver us. Have you seen people trust in things that will never set them free, will never deliver them? And that's why God would through the prophets, they would sometimes lovingly mock the people and say, let your gold save you. Let your silver save you. In my Bible, it says idols versus God. And it has Jeremiah 10. And he mentions that the customs of the people are futile. For one cuts down a tree from the forest. Does it sound like the season we're in now? Christmas tree? Well, I'm going to encourage you that this is not based on a Christmas tree necessarily. A lot of similarities, but the difference is they were worshiping. They cut down a tree, and then they crafted it into what they wanted it to be. Then they decorated with silver and gold, and they fastened it with nails and hammers so that it will not topple. Does sound like what the Christmas tree is. But what they were doing is bowing to it. This was their idol. This was the works of her hand. Look at what I've done. Look at what I've created. And they begin to worship the creation and not the creator. That was the difference for them. And they said they're upright, just like the palm tree, but they cannot speak. They cannot help you. They must be carried. You have to carry your idol around. How ridiculous is this? Because they cannot go in by themselves. Do not be afraid of them, for they cannot do evil, nor can they do any good. And at this time of year, it is good to ask, has consumerism become an idol? Has consumerism become an idol? Money, fame, recognition, all those things can become idolatry. Like I said before, review your calendar and your bank statements, and it will tell you exactly what and who you worship. Because Jesus said in Matthew 6:24, no one can serve two masters, for either he will hate the one and love the other, or else he will be loyal to the one and despise the other. You cannot serve both God and mammon. Mammon was wealth. It was financial success. It was building something that was not of God's kingdom. And they would try to serve that, but then they also wanted to serve God. And the reason you can't serve two masters is because your time has to go to one or the other. One or the other has to be the priority. And so he said, you cannot serve both of these. You have to make a decision. When Babylon is our master, we no longer fervently and passionately seek the things of God. It draws us away from God. So to be in hot pursuit of God, we've got to remove those things that are pulling us away from Him. And they're hard to break sometimes, aren't they? Those strongholds or those attitudes, the way we think, the way we feel. It can become very challenging. Deuteronomy chapter 4, verse 29, but from there you will seek the Lord your God and you will find Him. I want you to see this because I quote it a lot, but to look at it in its context. God is encouraging the people after difficulties, after maybe curses happen, because he talked about blessings and cursings. He'll go on to talk about in the future. But he says, if you, from there, in other words, if you're in a position that you don't want to be, if you're backslidden, prodigal, but from there you'll seek the Lord your God and you will find Him if you seek Him with all of your heart and with all of your soul. And when you are in distress and all these things come upon you in the latter days, because God told them, if you reject me, if you walk away from me, these things are going to fall on you, these consequences of sin. He said, when that happens and you turn back to the Lord and you obey His voice, for the Lord God is merciful. He will not forsake you nor destroy you. But look at the action there. If you seek Him with all your heart, if you seek Him, when you turn to the Lord. So something has to take place, and that's why I often say business as usual is not going to cut it in these dire times. Something has to take place. Some type of shift, maybe a major lifestyle change, or a decision to get you back on track with God. And Jeremiah 29 adds, then you will call upon me and go and pray to me, and I will listen to you. Then you will call upon me and go and pray to me, and I will listen to you. And you will seek me and you will find me when you search for me with all of your heart. You see, these are promises we can take to the bank with God. When He says something, that means it's going to happen. And a reminder that word seek means it could take some time. It will take some effort. It will not be easy. It's a time to really seek God and to remove things that will pull you away from Him. And He said, when you seek me, you will find me. When you search for me with all your heart, I will be found by you, says the Lord. And I will bring you back from captivity. I will bring you back from captivity. And also, here's something interesting about seeking God. Seeking God is often silent. It's in the waiting time. It's in the silence. The busyness of the day can keep you away from God. Being too busy for God, too busy to put Him first. And it's in that silent time. If God has got you in a season of waiting on Him, thank Him. Waiting for Him, thank Him. In a difficult season, those difficult seasons can be used to passionately pursue God. Seeking Him is often silent. And I want to put up the final image up there. That old hymn, Jesus, lover of my soul. Jesus, lover of my soul. How powerful and profound that is. Do you guys remember that hymn written by Charles Wesley in the 1700s? And it reminds us that he's our friend. The pursuit is for him, for our friendship with him. Jesus, lover of my soul.